march over to his house and bring him a symbolic Sunday dinner, which Mary Treese of NOAC will explain the symbology of to you soon. But first of all, I just want to go over what we're asking for real quick. We're calling for Senator Voinovich to end his support since 2003 of the war and war funding for Iraq, for the occupation. We're also calling on him to bring the troops home now, not tomorrow, next December, not in 2008, not in 2010, but right now. We also want him to take that war funding and bring it home and spend it in Ohio neighborhoods for the environment, for education, for food, for shelter, all the basics that are slowly ebbing away from Ohio and the rest of the country, all the infrastructure that's that's crumbling while the war in Iraq and the occupation goes on. Our main speaker, isn't here, so I just want to read some real short excerpts from a speech that Daniel Ellsberg gave on September 20th about the Constitution and about it looks like, apparent move towards a war with Iran. In case any of you don't remember, Daniel Ellsberg was the Defense Department analyst who exposed a lot of lies that the Defense Department and President Johnson was delivering to the nation day by day back in the 60s about the Vietnam War. So this is what he said. I'm excerpting grossly. I advise you to Google the speech and check it out. Let me simplify this, and not just to be rhetorical. A coup has occurred. The last 5 years have seen a steady assault on every fundamental of our Constitution. What the rest of the world looked at for the last 200 years as a model and experiment in checks and balances, limited government, Bill of Rights, individual rights protected from majority infringement and by the Congress, an independent judiciary for the possibility of impeachment. I would quite precisely call the current administrations as domestic enemies of the Constitution. Yes. I took an oath many times, an oath of office as a Marine lieutenant, as an official in the Defense Department, as an official in the State Department, as a Foreign Service officer. A number of times I took an oath of office, which is the same oath of office taken by every member of Congress and every official in the United States and every officer in the U.S. Armed Services. And that oath is not to a commander-in-chief, which is not mentioned. It is not to a Führer. It is not even to superior officers. The oath is precisely to protect and uphold the Constitution of the United States. Now that is an oath I violated every day for years in the Defense Department without realizing it, when I kept my mouth shut, when I knew the public was being lied into a war, as they were lied into Iraq and as they are being lied into war in Iran. I knew that I had the documents that proved it, and I did not put it out then. I was not obeying my oath, which I eventually came to do. The president is clearly violating that oath, of course. Everybody under him who understands what is going on, and there are myriad, are violating their oaths. And I would add, I think Senator Voinovich is violating his oath to the Constitution. And this is his final passage. We've got to somehow get home to those in Congress that this is the time for them to uphold the oath, to preserve the Constitution, which is worth struggling for in part because it's only with the power that the Constitution gives Congress responding to the public, only with that can we protect the world from madmen in power in the White House who intend an attack on Iran. So, as long with wanting to stop the war and occupation in Iraq, we are also going to Senator Voinovich's house today to do our best to prevent, and I hope we keep preventing every day, a war on Iran, because as he points out in his speech, if there were an attack on Iran, that would justify the Bush administration to to put into place a police state. There have been plenty of laws passed in the last 5 years that already lend themselves to that, and that would be like another 9/11. They would use that excuse, and a lot of us would be in detention camps right now. I don't think I'm exaggerating. So, the next administration will, he points out he doesn't think they'll rescind any of those laws that have pushed back our basic constitutional rights. So, maybe Dennis Kucinich, we see. So I'm going to ask Mary Treese of NOAC to come up here and just give us a real brief rundown on the symbology of the Sunday dinner.
A really lovely dinner here that we will be serving to George Voinovich. It's a Sunday dinner including pork. Pork represents the $1 billion no big contracts in Iraq paid by U.S. taxpayers to reconstruction and military production corporations tied to the Bush administration. We also have bacon. It is non-meat bacon. Represents what Senator Voinovich has not brought home for his neighborhood. Money for infrastructure, healthcare, education, housing, transportation, energy, and all of those things that we so desperately need in our neighborhoods and in the city of Cleveland and in Northeast Ohio.